What is the most ground swallow me up embarrassing moment that's ever happened to you? 1. I was working through a transaction with a couple. Whenever I asked the man a question, his wife would answer. I asked, "Does she ever let you speak for yourself?" The wife responded with no. Not since his stroke. 2. I ran into an old coworker at McDonald's. Our tenures had overlapped by about a month, and that was several years ago. He recognizes me and calls me over to his friends and tells them, "This is the nicest guy I have ever met." In the next 3 minutes I called him by the wrong name, and asked him how he liked a job he'd never worked at. It was pretty clear that I hardly remembered him. I was so embarrassed that I got my McDonald's to go and ate it in my car. I'm midway through my burger when him and his friends walk up and get into the car directly facing mine. We made awkward eye contact while I had my food in my hand, and then they drove off. 3. A blind woman wanted to know where the front of the bank was, and I pointed and said it's over there. 4. I was in the elevator area of my former job and wearing a skirt that was a little too big for me. Luckily, I had one of those long sweaters on over top because I was talking to the maintenance guy, and the skirt just dropped to the floor, and the guy and I just stared at each other for a small eternity. 5. I was in a line in the cafeteria and my female friend is leaning on the table holding her purse. Every time she opens it, I close it. I did it twice, then she suddenly faced me and it was a total stranger. I went back to our classroom and didn't eat lunch. 6. In middle school I used to have a bad habit of chewing on these pens that had sharp tips and came in red, black and blue ink. What I didn't know is that the tube/body was slightly pressurized, and one day during class I bit too hard on the pen, making it burst into my mouth. My teeth, tongue and lips were stained blue for days and everyone went around saying I ate a Smurf. 7. Ordered an Uber with my new boss on a business trip. Began making small talk with the driver to show her how great I am at talking to people. Driver was talking with his girlfriend on a headset. 8. I used to wait tables. During a busy Sunday post-church lunch rush, I had to make a sundae for a table in the very back corner of the restaurant. I get to the table and the entire party starts laughing. I'm standing there holding the sundae, super confused. I look down and realize that I had somehow managed to get a large amount whipped cream directly over my lap while preparing the sundae. All I could do was put the sundae down and say, "Oh my gosh," and speed walk back through the entire restaurant to clean myself up. 9. In high school, I was hanging out with my group of friends at lunch. One of our friends walked up wearing a suit and started talking to one of my other friends. A few moments later, he says, "Okay guys, I'm heading out now. I'll be back tomorrow." So I replied excitedly, "All right man, have fun." He gave me the weird scowl look of betrayal I've ever seen. Somehow it slipped past my radar that his girlfriend had developed a super rare disease and passed away inside the time span of a week. All my friends were looking at me with the widest eyes as he walked away. 10. My wife once heard a girl's accent and asked if she was Australian. She was deaf.